Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me as always is Trevor Scott.
Hello!
And our special guest this week is Brandon from the Hungry Gamers and the 8-Bit Collective. Welcome, Brandon.
Thank you for having me again, guys. It is an absolute pleasure.
It's almost been 100 episodes since you were last on. Almost.
That's impressive. Time flies by these days, doesn't it? Like, I was 25
really
just yesterday, and now I'm looking down the barrel at 33. Like, I don't know what's going on.
I was going to say, happy birthday if it was actually yesterday. But no, you were actually saying that it feels like it was yesterday.
It does. Except my back's sore, and I'm feeling a little bit more feeble by the minute. So, anyway, we're here. We're going to have some fun.
Yes,
we are. And so we'll just mention that there's a lot of stuff going on with the 8-Bit Collective this week. This episode will come out a few days after the big 8-Bit 3.0. And one of those things, as some of you may have seen, is that Bitstorm is actually joining the 8-Bit Collective.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. So we're very much looking forward to collaborating with you folks and doing some, extra content and just being part of the whole 8-Bit family.
Yeah, peeling back the curtain a little bit, it was tough to get you boys on board. The list of demands you had were as long as the days at the moment. It was pretty touch and go with our accounts department to make sure we could make the figures work, but we finally got to a number we could all agree upon, and we're happy.
That's it.
Yes.
You guys, you got Sam to finish sorting those M&Ms for us into colours.
Yeah, see, the main differentiator, you guys wanted the crispy, but we only had peanut, so we've sort of settled on the standard chocolate with a mixture of peanut as well, but we're there.
Yeah, that's it, Get the mix back, yeah.
Just as long as there's no brown ones.
All right, so let's get it going. Trevor, do you want to tell our listening audience about our game Click Pitch, which is what we shall be playing? We
have a random word generator each, and we're going to click refresh on the count of 3, 2, 1, click. We're going to take those words and mash them together, come up with a game, and then throw it away and start again. So that's the name of the game.
That's it. We're going to have some fun. So let's do it. 3, 2, 1, click. Ooh, my word is destruction.
My word is leader.
And mine is content.
Content or content?
Or content.
It's all in the in how you say it, All right. A leader who is content with destruction. Or a leader in destruction.
Is this just going to be like the Donald Trump simulator, where you play a day in the life of Donald Trump and see what kind of anarchy you can create out in the modern world?
Yeah, but the whole interface is just via Twitter.
Yes.
It's all about putting words together. You've got a pool of words and you arrange them into a tweet to do the most damage in the world.
Really simple user interface where just you can see the anarchy levels down the side via way of the other live tweets from fictitious media outlets, and you just keep pressing the go button on send tweet.
That's it. You just see what your ratio is on each tweet, replies versus likes, retweets. That's how you sort of gauge your destructive power.
I'm sort of picturing that maybe you can have like a list of 3 different tweets you want to release, and one of them is something that Donald Trump has actually sent. Another one is the worst thing that our writers could think of, and the other one is the least worst thing that they could think of. So basically, you got to.
This could definitely be like a mini game on like a Jackbox party.
Yeah, it feels very much like it could be almost like Cards Against Humanity, where you've got a series of words for each tweet you can compile together to create maximum devastation.
Yeah, you could even. Yeah, it might be a bit easier on the developers to sort of make it Mad Lib style as well. You just sort of insert the words into the tweet, the appropriate words.
I'm excited about this.
And then every 5 minutes, you've got a mini game where one of your aides is trying to wrestle your phone off you because you're just doing too much damage and they're feeling guilty.
And that's how it brings about like Kafifi and all these sort of things. Because it's basically you're still trying to hit send even though you've typed in something completely wrong.
That's right. Even though you're actually fighting over your phone with your chief of staff.
That's fantastic. This would be a perfect mobile game.
That'd be fucking fantastic.
Exactly, little fake Twitter interface. Totally.
Yep.
Oh man, we got political right off the bat.
Yep. Love it.
Nice.
3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah.
Playing.
Book.
Father.
So before we got father, I was thinking of like booking a band or something, like some sort of strategically figuring out the places a band is going to play.
Okay, so it's the same thing, except you're trying to book a children's band for children's parties.
And you're the clueless parent.
Yep.
Or maybe you're maybe you're the father of a successful children's entertainer, but they're like 12. It's one of these precocious kids who's become famous as doing silly songs about farts or something. And all the kids love them. They're the newest craze. And as a showbiz dad, you're having to kind of navigate the waters of the entertainment business.
That could be interesting.
You're the kid's manager, and therefore, you've got to choose to use the money either wisely and put it away, or fulfill your children's fantasies of they've got all this money now, they're going to just get everything they've ever wanted.
Yeah, but then that turns them into an asshole, and so you have to decide if you want to go down that path.
Yeah, and you need to try and suppress the media when leaked photos of your son now with a cocaine addiction have popped up, and you've got to buy off the paparazzo and everything like that.
12 and a half
like
cocaine
addiction. This will be like true moral choices in a video game.
Yeah, do you let your son sleep with the producer to boost Twitter followers by 10,000? Or do you say no and sort of go the hard way? Like it's real life RPG
Jesus
right now.
Christ.
It could be something. Maybe you play the father of Justin Bieber.
Maybe I feel like you definitely just like have sort of satirical versions of all these real life stars.
It's an unnamed star until you go down whatever path you're planning on going down, and then it becomes one of those sort of, now you've got a Miley Cyrus on your hands, now you've got a Justin Bieber.
That's like the end game. It's like your final score was Miley Cyrus.
just as long as we don't end up with River Phoenix, we'll be happy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You got a Macaulay Culkin out of Lindsay Lohan. That's the scale.
I don't know if I want to be part of that scale. That's a slippery slope.
I'm not sure how you rank them either.
Nobody wins. You just lose a little less every time.
I don't know. Have there been any? I feel like you can sort of have a bit of a comeback and you get a Drew Barrymore or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
you sort of make something of yourself in the end.
I'm trying to think of other child stars that have gotten big. Like I know the little kid from Big Daddy.
You could get absolutely lucky and get a Daniel Radcliffe, and Daniel Radcliffe is that sort of gold standard of child actor turned good.
Yeah, I guess he hasn't quite shit the bed yet.
Or his dad has just paid off a lot of paparazzo by playing this game.
Well, that's it. Maybe his dad's played this game and he got the high score. All right, 3, 2, 1, click.
Limit.
Copying.
Landscape.
Ooh. Are we like one of those fraud painters that sort of, the ones that sort of make duplicates of famous paintings and try and sell them off as the real thing?
Yeah,
I don't know the exact terminology for one of those people.
Like forgeries. I guess just a forger. I don't know. A forge? No, I don't think they're called a forge.
They're a forger that's nickname is the blacksmith.
Right. Yeah, that's cool.
I could.
Okay, so is this more of like a narrative thing? Because unless you're actually having the player kind of paint by numbers or something.
Yeah, which I think we've actually tried doing before.
I think we have done something similar to that. But maybe this is a bit more of a narrative sort of space where you play the blacksmith, this master forger, and it sort of starts off and you're deep in the seedy underworld of art forging and selling and the black market.
And then the FBI breaks in and basically say, we've been trailing you for a while. We know what you're up to, but we need your help cracking this bigger case. You're small fries compared to this.
And it turns into the game version of like an episodic, one of those, something along the lines of House MD, or what's that, the guy who can tell when people are lying, Bones or
Lie
something.
to Me, or maybe it could even just turn into a video game version of White Collar, which is literally this whole thing.
Wait, with art forgery though?
Yeah, that's what White Collar was about.
Well, I haven't seen that.
I have. It's awesome.
Okay, so we're licensing White Collar, apparently.
Yep.
Do you think it'd translate well to like VR? Especially in the forgery side, you could sort of be trying to paint your way to a passable knockoff and things, and then it can translate to looking into people's faces and reading them like... What was that old-timey movie by Team Bondi that was done here in Australia, just got re-released on the Switch? and you were a detective, and you had
L.A. Noire.
L.A. Noire.
Oh, Eleanor. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I like that idea of combining a lot of those sorts of skills. You know, even with the art forgery stuff, it doesn't actually necessarily have to be painting. It could just be that you're an expert in detecting forgeries, right? So it's things like running your X-ray over it, or, you know...
Oh, that could be cool.
Again, in VR, like, you're having to sort of...
detective mode.
Run your black light over it.
Yeah, run your black light over it, like, brush off layers of paint and stuff to reveal what's underneath.
I mean, what I love is the idea of having that tactile sort of feel of you got a spray bottle and you're like spraying it down, and then you switch it over to the black light and you're sort of waving it over. And
well, you got two hands, right? It's VR, so you one in each hand, and yeah, totally.
I suppose because I'm holding something in my hand right now, you know, I'm only thinking of one hand because I've got no use of my left hand at the moment.
We should probably explain that Trevor is holding his pop filter.
Yeah, because I literally didn't
mention
have
that on the podcast yet.
And
if Trevor just said his hand was busy, who knows?
It's not masturbating.
People thinking.
You're just already feeling out this Forge Simulator game. That's all. So you're a method actor. That's what it is.
Yep.
That's how people forge art, right? You need to have a good wank before you. So is there, what I like about those sorts of shows is there's often, you know, an overarching kind of story. So are we going to bring that into it? Is there some, you know, arch nemesis who you start tracking down through their art forgeries or something?
So I think what you could actually have is the person that taught you your craft is the person they're after.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I love this. I want to watch this show.
Emma Paintworthy. That's her name. Emma Paintworthy.
I nearly spat my water, thank you.
I love it.
And yeah, she taught you everything you know, but now she's out there, you know, continuing to dabble.
Yeah, so we're taking some of the ideas from White Collar, but a lot of them, you know, are not there. You know, basically, we're taking the license and sort of going off on our own story with it.
How recent was White Collar? Because I've never heard of it, yeah.
White Collar finished its like 5th or 6th season about 2 years ago.
Oh, wow. So it was long
it
running.
starred Matthew Bomer, and he was the forger. He actually left the show Chuck to join White Collar.
Who was he in Chuck?
He was the old like roommate of Chuck who ended up sending him
oh, okay.
He was the other spy that sent Chuck the program that got into his head, and then turned back up for a couple of minutes in the second season, and then left again to join White Collar.
I love Chuck.
So he wasn't leaving much from Chuck.
Oh, same here. I absolutely love Chuck.
If it weren't for Adam Baldwin, I'd go back and watch it probably, but
Yeah,
skeeves me out now.
Yeah, the whole Gamergate thing just, yeah, but kind of like a few other things that I've watched, I can sort of look past that. But the second I look at that person, then I think that's Adam Baldwin.
It is annoying how many people will have milkshake duct, as they put it.
But anyway, I like the idea of Emma Paintworthy being the arch nemesis.
Yeah, and I think it's just, then it's tracking her down and you end up with a big kind of showdown or something, like a big confrontation at the end.
I'm sort of picturing this almost like a Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego sort of thing, that you're tracking down the pieces, but if you don't solve it fast enough, then they kind
of branching based on how fast you manage to do it. Yeah,
and you got like the henchmen and that sort of stuff. Like, I don't know if you remember how they sort of did it. They just had a whole heap of different vignettes that you sort of went through each place, answering different questions and
yeah, that could be
clues. It doesn't have to be
the idea of having it sort of be almost these little mini games, these mini puzzles in between, but then with a lot of narrative stuff done in maybe sort of a Telltale style.
Yeah,
in between those. So there's a bit more gameplay than in recent Telltale endeavors. Not that they're bad, but they're pretty linear.
Very paint by numbers, if you will.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, I like that idea that it branches based on your actual, like how well you play.
Can our lead character be like Horatio from CSI Miami, and just like at the end of those vignettes, he sort of cuts to the camera, front on, puts the sunglasses on, and has like a witty art-based pun every time?
Oh, definitely. Yes.
And
except he puts on a beret.
And every case, you get the chance to actually say, enhance on that part. You know, when you're looking.
Oh, don't get
it's
me
like
started.
this really grainy photo that just gets fully
there
enhanced.
there definitely has to be like voice activated VR stuff. Where you actually get to say enhance and it doesn't.
God, that irks me. I work in electronic security in the real world, and the amount of times I've talked to consultants and end users, and they say that type of thing, and your eyes nearly roll out of your head. It's ridiculous. CSI has ruined it for the rest of us.
Yeah, just a
All
little
right.
bit.
I like it.
I like that a lot. 3, 2, 1, click.
Advice.
Sounding.
Send.
Send sounding advice.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's incredibly tough.
Is it a dating simulator? It's like, what was that handbook, the dude's handbook or whatever it was? Maybe it's the game version of that.
Well, maybe it's like, because I'm thinking send advice and sounding like a sounding board kind of thing. Maybe it is sort of a dating simulator, but you're in the middle of a date, but texting a friend to like get advice about what to do
This
next.
game would be right at home on Newgrounds.
Yeah. And so you've kind of got the two conversations going at once. And, you know, if you look away at your phone too long, it might cause something in the other conversation to, you know, they notice that you're not paying attention to them. But if you don't look at your phone, you might miss some really good advice.
For some reason, I'm thinking the only way that you can respond to this, though, is you've got a soundboard that you've got to, like, put together the instructions, because I'm picturing that your character has actually got, like, laryngitis, so he can't actually talk into the microphone. So it's just a soundboard.
I like this. I like this very much. It's like a streamlined version. Did you guys get a chance to play Speaking Simulator at PAX this past year? It's like
that was
just the romantic
amazing.
version of, like, romantic offshoot of that game.
Yep.
I do like the idea of, you've just got a sort of a limited soundboard, but obviously you'd have to, all the responses are programmed in there then to give the sort of, so I like the idea that the person on the phone is giving you just advice through text. To sort of say certain things or do certain things, but you have to interpret that in a certain way to say, like, well, does that mean I should make a turkey gobble 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 sound, or you know,
a race car sound, or
exactly like, or a clown horn, or
Sexy cat purr.
Yeah, I think you could have, you know, like, I don't know, 12 different sounds or something, and it's about sort of seeing the responses to those sounds based on the context of the question or the conversation.
oh god!
And then you could have the controls actually be one of those like soundboard things, like with all the different buttons. You know how they sometimes hook those up, the MIDI controller things. Yeah,
I love that a lot. I really do.
Cool. 3, 2, 1, click.
Clearing.
Hunt.
Tour.
Oh.
I'm straight away getting like this this almost Vietnam War sort of.
Oh, I was going a different way. But
so
okay.
where I'm picturing it is the last time you saw your best friend was as the helicopter was taking off and he ran into the clearing.
Okay.
And this is you've got back to the United States, the war has been declared it's over, but your friend is still never being seen again. So you head back into, it doesn't have to be Vietnam, it can be any sort of like war zone. You head back in there to sort of try and hunt down what happened to your friend.
Well, I do like that idea as a narrative hook. Where my mind went, though, was that you're on some sort of African safari.
Okay, it's African safari and the lions were chasing you and...
Yeah, I think your friend got taken, got disappeared during this African safari. Yes. And now you're kind of hunting through the jungle, trying to track him down and see what happened. And that doesn't necessarily mean killing, endangered species of animals. It could even be...
In fact, I like the idea of you going back in and you've got no weapons sort of thing, but you've got a...
Yeah, I think maybe there could be like last resort self-defense sorts of things, but I think, you aim it towards not actually harming the wildlife. It's just you're trying to track your friend down.
Could you make it like Alien versus Predator, where you could play as the human or the lion?
Oh, that would be cool.
And in both versions of the game, you're still trying to do the same thing. Your character's trying to find their best friend.
So when you play a lion, you're like sneaking through a city trying to find the dentist that killed your friend.
Or you're just trying to find your friend.
Maybe that should just be the whole game. Forget the other bit. It's just a lion sneaking through the city killing dentists.
Killing dentists.
It's always those rich prick dentists who go on illegally on lions and stuff.
What have you got against dentists?
Who doesn't have a bad story about a dentist? Like, it's true. They are the ultimate antagonist. Like, forget the Russians and the Germans. It's the dentist, the next sort of.
That's right. They should just start making that as the default bad guy.
I'm now picturing that they get to the end of like the collusion investigation. They decide, it wasn't Russians after all. It was just dentists.
It was the dentists. They just wanted to shoot more lions. We know they're assholes.
It's just even worse than Russia, worse than we ever imagined. It's fucking dentists.
Or can you imagine like a German dentist? That's like the ultimate evil.
Dentist.
Okay, so stealth mechanics in New York City. I'm saying New York because,
Because it's a jungle out there.
It's a jungle out there.
It's a concrete jungle.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So I'm picturing this lion trying to, like, sneak through the city. But given that the Big Apple is the city that never sleeps, how does the lion move through the city? That's what I'm wondering.
I think the sewer system.
Rooftops. Suicide. There you go. Both valid ways to get around.
Okay, so
when it starts,
I
really like the scene. I really like the idea, like the sort of visual of just a lion on a roof, just overlooking the New York skyline. This is my city, taking it down. I'm gonna find my buddy.
And then when it gets right to the end of the game, then you see the same sort of scene that he's up on the rooftop, except this time he's got a cape.
Yeah. Now he's man lion. I don't know. What would a lion?
I don't know.
Be as a superhero?
Lion man.
Well, but that would be a man pretending to be like a lion. That's why I said man lion.
But he's already a male lion.
Okay, spider
He's just
lion.
wearing.
Got bitten by radio.
But you know how Batman has like bat. I just like the idea of a lion up there with like human ears on the side and a cape to just
Utility belt.
a man lion. Yeah. Oh man, this one's going off the rails.
That's what I'm loving about it.
And then I think you get there and you find out that the friend you were searching for the whole time was like the lion from Madagascar.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just in the zoo.
Yeah, the tone would shift pretty quickly.
Although we did just talk about a lion superhero.
Yeah.
With
There's
Menace,
dark
I'm not
superhero
sure
stories.
Yeah, but the scary thing
really
is
leaned into it.
the scary thing is the ears are actually got blood dripping from them because the lion has literally ripped the ears out of someone's head.
Yeah, he makes an ear necklace like Dolph Lundgren in Universal Soldier.
What I do kind of love is that you can sort of go on safari the other way, where the lion is taking out dentists and other evil people. So is the final antagonist like a German dentist, like you said, or is it...
I think it's the dentist who does the dental work of all the other dentists.
Oh, he's like the
That's
Pope
like-
of the dentists.
It's like the high tier. Yeah, the dentist Pope.
He's just wearing like this huge like hat that is just like a tooth.
Yes, it's just one big molar.
And they go to talk to him and they go, "Oh, wise head dentist who still has all his wisdom teeth. You are so wise and you take such good care. You've never needed to go to the dentist."
0 cavities since birth.
Now I just want to make a game about the whole dentist religion hierarchy.
I love it.
Oh, that organization needs to be a recurring thing. That's got to come back. All right, 3, 2, 1, click.
Above.
Answer.
Document. I like the idea of taking document to be like documentary, maybe because again, I in a sort of I don't know Pokemon Snap style way, using a camera as your sort of main way of interacting with the world is interesting to me. It could be a VR sort of thing maybe, and where above comes into it is I think you spend a lot of time in a helicopter, some sort of news, like you're tracking something down or you're trying to discover some answer.
Or is this DLC to the previous Lion game and you are on safari in that helicopter documenting these sort of hunts?
Well, you're flying around New York because you're like trying to track down this lion people keep reporting.
What I'm really starting to see now is I've never seen a game where the protagonist was literally like a cameraman. So I'm thinking, so he's actually whether it be VR, whether it be a first-person sort of shooter view. I like the idea that it's definitely in first person of some description. But
I think so. Yeah.
You've got the camera, you've got the choice of when to record and when to not, and when to.
Well, that's why I like it as VR, because it would be very natural to, like, at any time you can just bring your hand up to your face and like pull the grip or whatever, or the trigger, and it's recording.
Yeah.
Can we play the role of like some sicko, like whether, I don't know if you're a serial killer, that might be a bit too dark. Maybe you're just some kind of sex pest and you're peeking through windows and, I don't know, making some kind of folder of your respective fantasies.
There could be a voyeuristic aspect to it. That could definitely be interesting.
Just don't want to go too creepy though. So I like the idea.
I wonder if it's more about like a private eye or something.
Yeah, private eye, or you're working for a journalist who's exposing all these horrible dentists or these horrible these horrible politicians, and you just capture them in different sort of.
Well, I do like that
situations.
idea. I like the idea of you're hiding in the bushes, and you kind of have to raise up and put the camera up and get the shot of the politician and the dentist shaking hands as they make a dodgy deal.
I like this. This is a lot cleaner than I expected this one to go, but I'm enjoying it. I'll sort of hide the deep, dark imagery that I was playing around with earlier, and we'll go down this path.
But what I also like about it is that you've got limited film in your camera. I'm thinking video camera, so you got limited time that you can record.
Okay, so we're in that like horrible dead zone between when cameras got small enough to be handheld, but before digital really took off to have basically
pretty much
footage, like take as much footage as you'd like.
The good thing about that is you got to choose when to record.
Yeah, and you're having to like pop out batteries and tapes and stuff as they run out. Pull them from your little holsters.
Yeah, and that takes a little bit of time to actually switch them over, which means that you may miss the money shot, as it were.
Exactly.
The shot where they literally shake hands and they transfer
Or in
money.
the DLC, the actual money shot, when we finally get around to Brendan's
Take my
Dark
money.
Desires. That's actually the name of the DLC, Brendan's Dark Desires.
Give me pictures of sexy Spider-Man.
I think there's a lot you could do with that mechanic, though. And it could be all sorts of different scenarios,
Yeah, Ben, you and I played a game recently called The Dark Side Detective. And I like the idea that you had these, like, 6 different cases that you sort of went on that were... And then you had some... Self-contained, but had somewhat some recurring characters between them. I like the idea of just having some small little vignettes, as it were, of these are the sort of things that you're going out and capturing, but then they sort of build themselves into a larger overarching narrative.
Well, I was thinking that too, although I was thinking it would work well, almost a Black Mirror style thing where it's different characters each time. It's just the only thing that really connects them is the mechanic, is that they've all got cameras. And then I think, yes, you could have a thread running through them that connects them in some way as you sort of reveal whatever it is these people, these protagonists are trying to reveal, right?
Yep.
The secret to perfect teeth.
The horror of the dentists.
You can't zoom in too close on the dentist because it just like blows out all the like it's completely white. Just the glare off of the teeth.
There was no HDR functions back in the days.
Your cameras. Yeah.
The problem is if they're smiling and you get them on camera, it's just pure lens flare, just right in the The sparkle just blows out like the image to be pure white. So
I love that. That would be a great additional little mechanic as well.
It means that you got to position yourself better so you can't actually see.
You can't see the smile.
But then you got to be careful. In some levels, there's mirrors.
All right, 3, 2, and click.
Head.
Bake.
Filter.
Okay.
So you run a head shop.
What I was going to say is it's kind of a cross between Sweeney Todd, in that you're baking heads into something.
Oh, I was going for a different kind of bake, but okay.
But the filter is because it's set in current days and people keep on taking selfies and putting filters on their like on all their photos and stuff. So basically you've got a barbershop on top of a cake shop this time.
Okay.
And you've got to find a way of disposing of all these politicians and dentists that you're killing.
So are we playing both like the Sweeney Todd equivalent and also the baker?
Mrs. Lovett.
I think I want to play just the Mrs. Lovett sort of character.
So you're just a cake maker. You're just a cake maker and these bodies keep showing up.
And you've got to find new ways of actually disposing of the bodies, which could be, oh, look, we've got an oversized birthday cake. Let's just shove it inside the birthday cake. You can only do that so many times before they start realizing.
Yeah, and it could be sort of like alchemy trees from RPGs where you're mixing certain organs with other ingredients to make good or bad cakes, and the quality goes up and down, or it can make people sick. Because you've got to run a profit here too.
Yeah. Around Valentine's Day, it's really, really good for business because you just put a little bit of the blood into the icing mixture and it turns a nice pink colour.
I like that.
So this is just a very macabre baking simulator.
Yep. Think Overcooked, but with murder.
I would play the hell out of this game. I am a sucker for baking shows on television. I also love Overcooked, so I would be pre-ordering this if this became reality.
I'd love for there to be like a section of the game where the main character gets on one of those baking shows.
That is so good.
Maybe they have to like smuggle in some liver or something.
Is there any musical elements attached to this show as well if we're going to tie into the Sweeney Todd theme?
Oh, good question.
A couple little musical numbers?
Yeah, could see that working.
Yeah.
Just trying to think of how the mechanics would go around that, but maybe it's just around the time.
Yeah, it could be like Parappa the Rapper. You just sort of got to time your button presses.
Yep. During certain mini games, then you can actually have the have some sort of Sweeney Todd-esque song happening from upstairs or something like that, and you're tapping away, which is sort of mashing down, grinding the bones to make bread or whatever.
Fee, fi, fo, fum. I like the idea that you don't actually ever explain where these bodies are coming from. You just occasionally see this like blood spattered guy come down the stairs and go back up.
I'm just picturing that there's a chute in the corner and you just see a body just sort of hit the ground.
Yeah, just slumps down, neck blasted open, slit open.
Halloween is the best time because you literally don't even have to hide, the body that well. You can just shove arms into the cake.
You just don't even cut them up. Just garnish. God.
We're onto something here.
Yeah, I like it. I'm just going to, as an alternate thing, as you probably guessed to begin with, when I thought of this, I definitely thought of weed with baking and such. So when you said Sweeney Todd, I was like, Sweeney Todd crossed with Harold and Kumar. Or like one of those, weed games where, I don't know, you're turning bodies, you found a way to turn bodies into marijuana. I don't know. Never mind. I didn't actually have a game there. I just liked the general concept.
It's got some merit.
Yeah.
Reasonably, yeah.
Primitive.
Parrot.
Close.
Primitive parrot close.
So, I can't think of much in the way of gameplay mechanics, but I feel like there's something narratively we could get out of this.
Okay.
Where a parrot is kind of a main part of the story. Maybe I'm just trying to think of having to like close, the parrot's in the corner of a room, and if you don't want it to repeat certain things that it sees, you need to make sure it's closed. I don't know what sort of business you would run or place you would be in where that would work.
Or do we just rip off Untitled Goose Game and it's just sort of a happy-go-lucky parrot that's out and about running amok as opposed to being a bastard goose?
Well, I like the idea of collecting words that you can then repeat back. They could almost give it a Metroidvania vibe where you need certain words that you repeat back to people to like get them to give you something or have them understand what it is you want.
I'm really kind of liking the idea of a parrot detective.
Okay.
And the whole thing being that you're just an unsuspecting parrot that is sort of investigating murders and all this sort of stuff. And as you find clues and you hear people talking, you can sort of parrot back out to a hapless detective who's on the scene what you heard.
Okay, I love the idea, again, the collecting words thing, but you're literally a parrot in a cage, and your only interaction with the whole game is just to say specific words that you've learned previously at the right time. So it's basically a dialogue based adventure game, but you kind of just have to. It's almost a game-long version of the like insult sword fighting or something, right? From Monkey Island.
Yeah.
Because you're learning the different options as you go, and you have to match them up. So initially, maybe you're at the scene of a crime where your owner was killed or something, and you manage to help the hapless detective solve it by saying, combinations of the 3 words in the correct order at the correct times to sort of lead them to the right position. And because of that, they take you back to the station, and now you're the police station parrot, and from then on, like every time you learn a couple more words and start solving crimes. That's all there is to it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how you go about increasing your vocabulary. You're doing sort of like brain training games back at the police force.
I think there's just moments where within each case you just sort
pick
of
up a few new words.
A word is said, and it just sort of magically makes its way into your vocabulary.
Yeah, I'm kind of picturing it like, how sometimes in the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney games, as you were going through, they highlighted a certain word as people were talking. Mm-hmm. I can picture that, you've got limited space in your vocabulary, so you've got to choose which word you want to actually keep or replace.
Interesting. Oh, so there really is an aspect of solving it then. It's not just, based on this broad range of words. It's what are the words you've kept from previous cases or from, things you've heard in this case that you think are going to be important enough to repeat later.
Yeah, and you just got a selection of, as you're listening into conversations, which you can have the typical game thing of people are repeating conversations, so you can always go back into another scene and collect that word.
Grab a different word, yeah.
Yeah.
Brain inventory management, I like that.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But it also... I don't think that you have to have collected, a certain word from a previous one, and if you lose that word, then you're totally fucked. I think every word that you've learnt previously, you've got a way of pulling back from.
Yeah, well, maybe you've got some words that you gain permanently, and some words that are
required.
You're sort of rotating pool from the current case that you can always. Yeah, and again, like the Phoenix Wright sort of games, it's okay. Go listen to this conversation. Go, talk to this person. Okay, I think I've got the right combination of words. Now it's sort of go to the final scene and make sure I can say the right words in the right place to solve the crime. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and then maybe like as it goes on, you can, in the first case, you've only got 3 words that you need to sort of keep track of. So you only need 3 words, but as you go, it's like the next case adds another word, and the next case adds another word, and you get to the end of the 7th case, and you've got like 9 words to deal with now. That you can.
Well, and I like the idea that in some cases you need more words than you can hold.
Yeah.
And so you have to strategically figure out, but if I take this word, it can have different meanings in these 2 different contexts.
Yeah.
That could be.
It all comes down to the writing.
It's a homonym or something. Yeah, absolutely. It would require some really good writers. But there's some good wordplay you could do there.
Awesome.
For sure.
How do you win the game? What is the end scene of I don't know what we call this game. Polly wants a cracker.
Polly solved a case.
Polly wants a murder.
Polly seeks justice.
I love that. Polly seeks justice. Oh God.
I don't know.
I think
you solve. Do you get promoted? You become the
chief.
I'm picturing that there's like a limited number of cases, and then there's a natural end to the thing where you sort of like the parrot gets the key to the city or something like that from the mayor.
Yeah, and the key is just a giant cracker.
I'm picturing right at the end, just after you get given the key, you hear something about the mayor's doing some sort of nefarious thing, and it's sort of leading it into the possibility of a sequel.
The final scene is just like you staring down the mayor as he hands you the key to the city. And you've got one word you're allowed to say. Choose carefully. Cracker.
That's the chief's name, and it's like, Cracker!
Yes, Chief Cracker. Oh, God, I love it. All right,
I know whether it's Chief Cracker or Detective Cracker. Because then you get to hear it a lot more if it's the hapless detective.
Well, that would make sense that Polly would know the word cracker as well. And so that's like initially what, gains attention. You can gain the attention of Detective
Yeah, it could be
Cracker.
Polly's partner. Like
Cracker?
Polly gets promoted
Cracker?
into being
Cracker?
a partner with Cracker, and yeah, they forge some kind of budding rivalry.
Polly and Cracker.
Oh, God.
Yeah, detectives at large. I don't know. All right, took you on quick.
Yep.
Feeding.
Instinct.
Lawn.
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 Ooh.
Is the aim of the game to get the greenest yard in a drought-laden environment? Everyone takes pride in lawns, especially in suburbia.
Yeah, well, I like the idea of just backyard-based games. There's something about the mundane and turning that into a game.
For some reason, I don't know why, but I've connected feeding and lawn together and turned it into sort of like a little shop of horrors that this lawn is like eating people.
Oh. Well, I was going down, and this doesn't necessarily negate that, but I was going down kind of the Viva Pinata route, because we've got feeding and instinct, and maybe it's around attracting things to your lawn, to your garden, and creating the sort of ecosystem there. But that doesn't mean it couldn't be Little Shop of Horrors style, and there's all sorts of plants that eat other plants and animals and make up all sorts of strange creatures that you have to sort of learn the connections between them.
Oh, so I'm picturing all these different things of like you said a backyard barbecue party in which, you find out that one of your neighbours is a dentist, so you go, "Ooh, I need to make sure that he stays back a little bit longer so that I can feed him to my lawn."
Feed him to the lawn. Well, I like that idea. I like that being sort of one of the mechanics. Is all right. I've started my lawn of horrors. I've put a patch of man-eating grass back there. I've got the blood daisies planted next to them because they're going to split blood out, and they're going to give it some, but it's running a bit low. So, all right, I'm going to use some points to hold a backyard barbecue, and I'm going to invite these people, and that kind of creates a little scene where the people in your backyard then just sort of interact with all the plants and where you've planted them and stuff. And so, yeah, you can do something to lead the dentist down to the man-eating grass patch, and that has sort of boosted that grass patch for the next month because you got plenty of viscera to feed it. But then I think there are animals as well, right? Like I think it attracts different types of insects that feed on specific plants, but then they also perhaps help pollinate certain ones in different ways.
Is the aim to expand? Like, do we want to sort of slowly try and take over our suburb and then the city, then the world? Are we sort of a power-hungry botanist that wants to just dominate with their...
I definitely like the idea of expanding somewhat. It's been a long time since I've played Viva Pinata, but I think in that you got larger lots and you could sort of, use that to attract in more and more, varieties of creature. So I do like the idea of once you get to a certain level of garden, it starts spilling out into your neighbours, and you get some bonus points for that because you obviously all your plants eat the neighbours and their pets. Whether it goes sort of city-wide and worldwide, I'm not sure how you manage that. But I guess that you could sort of bring it up a level of abstraction to sort of be spreading it further. Mm.
I kind of like the idea that your character isn't actually human. It looks human, but a la like Third Rock from the Sun, you're actually a botanist from another planet. And that's why you're actually trying to cultivate these crazy plants, because literally your planet is determined that Earth happens to have the most rich soil that you can actually have to make cultivating these crazy plants.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea that this is part of a world domination, like terraforming strategy. But instead of anything, really over the top and drastic, they've literally just sent some gardeners down to live on Earth for a while.
I'm picturing, though, I do like the idea of people keep on coming up and going, "Wow, your garden's doing so well. Everyone else's gardens are struggling because of the drought." Because these are very drought resistant. Because
I think
they're only through blood.
Your alien race had previously looked at Earth and gone, no, it's a bit cool. Like our plants won't survive, but like that was a couple hundred years ago, and now the climate change has just totally changed everything. And so it's like, oh, actually, yeah, it's going to work fine. Put a little bit of a political statement.
Is one of the mini bosses Don Burke?
I definitely like the idea of bringing in like famous
I was trying to think of other ones and I've got nothing.
I'm just thinking of the old people from like Gardening Australia that used to be on the ABC. I can't remember the guy's name.
I bet Britain's got a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they probably
See how
do.
lush their grass looks? They're like celebrities over there, I reckon.
Yeah, I don't recognize any of these people when I search for famous gardeners.
Well, now I'm picturing also you've got like you get to pull Scotty Cam in from like
From Backyard Blitz days.
from Backyard Blitz, and therefore you got Jamie Jury or whatever his name was, and you've got
I don't know any of these people.
you've got all the people from Better Homes and Gardens that you can pull in, and Noni Hazelhurst, and
I don't want to kill Noni. I'll kill the rest of them. A garden can eat.
She's a living legend.
Noni's a national treasure.
what about John Jarrett then?
Oh, I don't want to get involved with John Jarrett. You hear the rumours now?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, he
we
can
kill
be,
him?
definitely. Yeah, we can feed him to the plants.
Okay,
All right.
I really like that idea. I think that's a goer.
Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1, click. I think we've got time for one more.
Yeah, very good.
Sweet.
Scrap.
Stretching.
Sweet scrap stretching. SSS.
Jesus, where do we go with this?
So I'm sort of picturing like sweet and stretching. That's sort of like taffy pulling.
Yeah, like caramel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So are you having to build
it's the scraps.
something?
It's the scraps of those. Like after you pull and all that sort of stuff, and you got the sweets that you actually release.
So you're just
These are
having
the
to build
offcuts.
something out of misshapen candy.
Yep. Or an army of misshapen candy.
What character do you play?
okay,
Are you like a poor kid? Are you like sort of Oliver? Are you out on the streets?
I think you're like a Geppetto sort of character. Like you're building these things and giving them life.
Well, actually, I think your character is a cross between a candy maker and back in his genetic code somewhere, he's also got the code to be a dentist.
Oh,
So basically, maybe your dad was a candy maker and your mum was a dentist.
Okay, so you've got these warring things inside you.
Yeah. So you're making the candy because you want to make the kids have like
cavities
and stuff like that, so that they go to the dentist. That's why it was a match made in heaven. Your parents really made it work, even though you expect candy makers and dentists to be mortal enemies. They realize
They
that
actually
they
have
could
a symbiotic relationship with each other.
So I'm picturing that you're now taking the scraps, and you've realized that your dad was throwing away all the scraps of the taffy for years and years and years, and you've worked out a way of selling it for cheap as sort of like misshapen candy to basically sell more candy and get more kids off to the dentist.
Oh, so you're a pawn. You're a pawn.
All right,
for
but
the evil
I still like the idea of them coming to life and becoming an actual army.
Yeah.
I'm picturing this great thing of these little like half melted candy Frankenstein monsters like fighting their way into kids' mouths to smear themselves all over their teeth and give them candy.
Or are you trying to build this army to try and overthrow your evil dentist father? You've seen how he's sort of monopolised this market. Oh, both of them. You've had enough of both. You see what they're up to, and you've wised up to the scam they're running, and you went, you know what?
So you've decided that you're going to you've been making the candy as per your father's instructions, but you're now utilizing these scraps to take out the dentist menace. Mm-hmm. You're saying that you're hoping
dentist
because you're too sick of going to school every day and all your friends coming in with pain from going to the dentist and cavities and having to get major and minor work. So enough is enough. You and your friends create this taffy army and go to war.
And so is it then I'm picturing sort of almost a Pikmin style thing where you've got a bunch of these little taffy soldiers that you're sort of instructing around, sending 10 of them over that way to overtake that I don't know, dentist, I guess. That tool. What are they fighting exactly? Just dentists.
Could be some RTS mechanics in there.
Yeah, well, that's sort of what I'm thinking, like basic RTS stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
RTS, you got to sort of instruct some of the taffy pullers to hold the door so that no one can come into the room while you're taking out the dentist.
Yeah, well, that's what I like. I'm kind of picturing less of a top down, RTS style, and more of that a bit of Overlord or Pikmin where you are a player yourself and sort of the over the shoulder view, but it's like you can split them into groups of these 10 because you need 10 to hold the door. to keep that door closed, and you need these 15 because it takes that many to overpower the teacher or whatever.
Yeah, you work your way through the school system to the local dental system to state to national, and then over to Rome to take down the Vatican Pope dentist.
Right? Yeah. The dentist Pope. Yep. Exactly. And then you just you're on top of the world with your candy army.
I'm sorry I kept on coming back to the dentist, but I just love that idea of these.
Well, it worked perfect. It did work perfectly for the sweets.
Yeah, I had to bring it back for one final time.
Well, and what I was thinking then is this is actually a prequel and to a game where later on in the Starch Wars series we bring in the candy interlopers and the root vegetables and the leafy vegetables have to team up against.
And that's not something you see very often, Candy and leaf-based vegetables are not friends, at least not in my diet.
That's it.
Yeah, so if for those people who haven't listened all the way back there, Brendan was one of the originators of the Starch Wars universe.
Yes,
back in
it was your first episode 20 or something.
Yeah. So nearly 100
which we've revisited that universe a few times.
like 3 times.
I know, it's fantastic.
And Ben just had to bring it back.
It's an honour to be part of such a living, breathing beast known as Starch Wars. I wear that.
Oh, I think it's our most ongoing.
Until
IP.
now the evil dentist.
Until now, dentists.
Dentists, so they might come back.
Dentists,
but it's all part of the same world, right? We just connected them.
Dentists are literally going to be like the recurring antagonists that lead all the way up to 200 when they have a big culmination.
I cannot wait.
This is now becoming just an anti-dentist podcast.
We hate dentists.
We're gonna get a lot.
I'm gonna wake up tomorrow with the biggest pain in my wisdom teeth. You wait.
Yep.
Karma.
Damn dentist Pope.
Okay, that does do it for today's episode of Bitstorm.
That's right. So before we go into our spiel, Brendan, do you want to let people know where they can find you? And
yeah, sure. So you can find myself pretty well everywhere at Brendan8bit, and then you can find myself as well as Bitstorm, as well as the rest of the hashtag Atebit Collective at 8bit.net or over on youtube.com/we're8bit. But yeah, just search that hashtag and you'll be able to find us as well as 12 other podcasts making magic on the daily. So give it a look, give it a listen.
Yeah, yep. Happy to be joining this week. Fantastic. And so, yeah, if you want to find us online, obviously you can head over to 8bit, or you can go to, the best place to go is podchaser.com/bitstorm, and all our stuff is up there. We've got a YouTube channel. We'll be releasing some new stuff on soon, and you can hit up our Twitter and our Facebook. Trevor?
And of course, as always, we'd love for you to check out the AGPN for all your Australian podcast needs. Search for AGP Network on Twitter, or a hashtag AGPN on Twitter, or finally the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook. And finally, we'd like to thank Kurodust for the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
That's it. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
You've been...
Oh, sorry, I have been Brendan. Yes.
Yeah. And,
fuck those dentists.
Yes. Fuck the dentists. Fuck them. Fuck the dentists. Fuck the dentist.